Alright, so you found this video, which means either the search algorithm is doing its job beautifully, or you are a senior traveler who is absolutely done with bad cruise advice. And honestly, both are valid reasons to be here. Welcome to the most humbling experience of my content career, where over 100 real human beings with real cruise opinions collectively decided to educate me through the comment section. We are talking about people who have spent more time on the open ocean than I have spent making good decisions in my life. Now, before we dive into the full re-ranking, let me be upfront. Some of my original picks, completely roasted. Others, surprisingly defended by people I did not expect. And a few cruise lines I barely mentioned. Apparently, that was a personal offense to entire communities of loyal travelers. So if you are a senior planning your next big voyage, or you just love watching someone get corrected by the internet in the most constructive way possible, you are absolutely in the right place. Buckle up, because this is going to be equal parts informative, surprising, and just a little bit embarrassing for me. Welcome back. And if you just stumbled onto this video while searching for the best cruise lines for seniors in 2025, congratulations, your algorithm is working perfectly. We are about to break down exactly what shifted in our rankings, why it happened, and which cruise lines are quietly climbing while others are coasting on reputation alone. Pun absolutely intended. Now, if you watched the original ranking, you already know we do not hand out gold stars just for having a fancy buffet and a piano bar. Things change, prices shift, itineraries get redesigned, and what felt like a relaxing dream cruise one year can start feeling like a floating theme park the next. So here is what actually moved the needle this time around. A combination of updated passenger feedback, changes in onboard programming, pricing transparency, and how well these lines are genuinely catering to mobility needs, and slower-paced travel has reshuffled some positions in ways that are honestly a little dramatic. One line that was comfortably sitting in the middle of the pack has made a surprisingly strong push toward the top, and another that was practically untouchable is starting to show some cracks. Buckle up. Or rather, settle into your ergonomic deck chair, because this is where it gets interesting. All right, so you searched for the best cruise lines for seniors, and congratulations. You found the one video that actually did the homework, instead of just recycling the same tired listicle that every other travel blogger copy-pasted from each other in 2019. What you're about to see is a re-ranked list built from over 100 real comments left by actual senior travelers, not sponsored talking points, not public relations fluff, and definitely not the opinions of a 26-year-old travel influencer who thinks roughing it means a hotel without a rooftop pool. We took the original ranking, we held it up to the light of genuine traveler experience, and some cruise lines moved up, some moved down, and one or two got a very polite but very firm talking to. The categories that mattered most to your fellow travelers were value for money, physical accessibility, onboard comfort, shore excursion quality, and overall senior friendliness, because it turns out those things matter a whole lot more than whether the ship has a water slide. So let us get into it. If you have been searching for the best cruise lines for senior travelers, you are already in the right place, because we are about to save you hours of scrolling through outdated reviews and questionable travel blogs. Holland America Line is not just climbing our updated ranking, it is practically sprinting up the list, and the reasons why are almost embarrassingly obvious once you hear them. Seniors are not asking for fireworks and water slides. Shocking revelation, we know. What they actually want is a boarding process that does not feel like a competitive sport. medical facilities that go beyond a single bandage and a sympathetic shrug, and itineraries that treat port stops like actual destinations rather than a frantic 45-minute dash back to the ship. Holland America delivers on all three, and the comment section made that crystal clear. Multiple travelers specifically called out how well the crew handled mobility aids and wheelchairs during boarding, which is the kind of detail that does not show up in glossy brochures, but absolutely shows up in real experiences. Longer port stays, slower transitions, and a general philosophy of not treating relaxation like a race. That is what pushed this cruise line significantly higher in our updated ranking, and frankly, it earned every single spot. Now let's talk about the cruise line that surprised everyone by dropping in this updated ranking. Originally sitting near the top, this line received a wave of critical feedback that was impossible to ignore. Multiple commenters described the onboard atmosphere as overwhelmingly loud and chaotic, with entertainment and activities clearly designed for younger families rather than older travelers seeking relaxation. Several seniors mentioned struggling with accessibility, pointing out narrow corridors, limited elevator access, and shore excursions that assumed a level of physical fitness most senior travelers simply do not have. One commenter summed it up perfectly, saying it felt like being a guest at someone else's party. When feedback this consistent comes from real travelers, it has to be reflected honestly in the ranking. That is exactly why this line moved down several positions in the updated list. Now here is something that genuinely surprised me during this entire comment review process. There was one cruise line that barely got a mention in the original video, almost a footnote really, yet it kept appearing in the comments again and again from senior travelers who were practically passionate about it. That cruise line is Azamara. Seniors described it as intimate, unhurried, and deeply focused on destination immersion, rather than onboard spectacle. The ships are smaller, which means less walking, easier navigation, and a quieter atmosphere that older travelers consistently appreciated. Multiple commenters highlighted the longer port stays as a game changer, giving them actual time to explore without feeling rushed. Based on everything shared, Azamara now comfortably sits in the upper half of the updated ranking, landing at number 4 overall. One of the most passionate debates running through the comments was the river cruise versus ocean cruise conversation, and honestly, it came up so often that it had to influence the ranking in a meaningful way. Many senior travelers were very clear about where they stood. Those who preferred river cruises pointed to the smaller ship sizes, calmer waters, and the ability to dock right in the heart of a city, rather than miles away at a massive port terminal. Several commenters mentioned that river cruises simply felt less overwhelming. On the other side, ocean cruise supporters argued that the onboard amenities and variety of destinations cannot be matched. Because of this feedback, river cruise-focused lines have been repositioned higher in the updated ranking, reflecting how strongly seniors responded to that more intimate and accessible style of travel. One theme that kept appearing throughout the comments was medical and health support on board, and honestly, it made me rethink how much weight this factor deserves in any senior travel ranking. Seniors shared some really eye-opening experiences. Several commenters specifically praised Holland America Line for having well-equipped medical facilities and attentive staff who never made them feel like a burden for asking health-related questions. Princess cruises also came up frequently, with travelers mentioning how reassured they felt knowing medical help was genuinely accessible around the clock. On the other hand, a few cruise lines received criticism for understaffed medical centers or dismissive responses during health concerns. Given how critical this is for older travelers, medical support is now a weighted factor in the updated ranking, and it has meaningfully shifted several positions. Now let's talk about something that genuinely divided the comments section, and that is the value for money question. This debate got heated, and honestly, both sides made fair points worth addressing. Several viewers felt that certain premium cruise lines were charging luxury prices without delivering experiences that truly catered to seniors. Comments pointed to things like specialty dining costing extra, shore excursions priced unreasonably high, and cabin upgrades feeling almost mandatory rather than optional. But then other viewers pushed back hard, arguing that higher pricing often meant better staff-to-passenger ratios, quieter environments, and superior medical support, all things that matter deeply to older travelers. After weighing both perspectives carefully, some premium lines held their ranking because the quality genuinely justified the cost, while others dropped because the value simply did not match the price seniors were paying. Now, one group that honestly did not get enough attention in the original video was solo senior travelers, and the comments made that very clear very quickly. Dozens of solo travelers chimed in to share frustrations and needs that simply were not part of the original conversation. Single supplement fees came up constantly, with many pointing out that certain cruise lines charge solo travelers nearly double the cabin rate, which makes an already expensive trip feel completely unreasonable. Beyond the cost, commenters talked about the importance of social programs specifically designed to help solo seniors connect with other passengers. Safety considerations were also raised, particularly for solo women traveling independently. This feedback genuinely added a new layer to how cruise lines are now being evaluated, because a ranking that ignores solo travelers is simply incomplete. Shore excursions became one of the most passionate topics in the comments, and honestly, it was feedback I did not fully anticipate. Seniors were very clear that several cruise lines were falling short when it came to excursion planning for older travelers. The complaints were specific and consistent. Excursions involved too much walking on uneven terrain, guides moved too quickly, and there was little to no accommodation for mobility aids. A few commenters mentioned feeling left behind, sometimes literally, during group tours. On the flip side, certain cruise lines received genuine praise for offering seated tours, accessible transportation, and slower-paced cultural experiences. This feedback directly impacted the ranking. Cruise lines that prioritized thoughtful, senior-friendly excursion options moved up, while those treating accessibility as an afterthought dropped noticeably in the updated positions. Now let's walk through positions 5 through 10 in the updated ranking, and I want to be upfront, some of these moved around quite a bit. Coming in at number 10, we have MSC Cruises. Several commenters mentioned feeling overwhelmed by the sheer size of the ships. At number 9, Norwegian Cruise Line holds steady, though one viewer said, and I am paraphrasing here, "The freestyle dining concept sounds great until you realize the weights are brutal on older knees." Number 8 goes to Carnival, which actually climbed slightly. Commenters appreciated the affordability factor. Princess Cruises lands at number 7, praised for its relaxed atmosphere. Celebrity Cruises earns number 6 for its refined onboard experience. And at number 5, Viking Ocean edges in, with multiple seniors calling it surprisingly accessible and wonderfully calm. And now, the moment you have been waiting for, the top 4 cruise lines for senior travelers, shaped entirely by your experiences. Coming in at number 4, Viking Cruises. Commenters repeatedly praised its calm, enriching atmosphere and zero tolerance for rowdy behavior, making it genuinely peaceful. At number 3, Regent Seven Seas. Seniors consistently highlighted the all-inclusive pricing and exceptional accessibility features as absolute game changers for stress-free travel. Claiming number 2, Oceania Cruises. Comment after comment mentioned the smaller ship size, unhurried pace, and outstanding culinary experience as perfectly suited for older travelers. And taking the top spot, Holland America Line. Seniors overwhelmingly described it as feeling designed specifically for them, from thoughtful shore excursions to attentive medical support on board. These rankings belong to you, the real travelers. Going through all those comments was genuinely humbling. I came into this thinking I had a solid grasp on what seniors want from a cruise, and in many ways, the original ranking reflected that confidence a little too much. But real experience beats research every single time. Some of my original placements were off, and I'm glad to admit that openly. I underestimated how much medical support, pacing, and genuine accessibility matter to this community. I also overlooked solo travelers entirely, which was a real gap. To everyone who took the time to share their stories, thank you sincerely. Your voices shaped every position in this updated list. The best travel advice does not come from behind a screen. It comes from people who have actually packed their bags and lived it. And before I let you go, if you are getting close to retirement or you are already living that chapter, make sure you check out our sister YouTube channel, Retire Ready 120. It is packed with tips, insights, and conversations designed specifically for people stepping into this exciting new phase of life. Head over there, hit subscribe, and join that community as well. The link is right below in the description.